It is 20 minutes past 3 o'clock, and of course, I'm a girl who meets the promises again. You know how it is. 4 days to the elections, and of course, I told you guys I've got a hot interview in the building. Let me give you a number 7 one time. So we're doing all things elections. So if you just joined us 4 days to the elections, are you ready? Do you know who you're going to vote for? If not, you are tuned into the right place. Before we get any further, I've got one question. Okay, the first question, rather. So today we educating people on vote, right? The elections, the importance of voting and whatever. But there are people that don't even understand the basic fundamentals of the elections as general. So I feel like before we get too deep into the deepest, details, the deep, let's just start with the basic stuff, right? So we know when you go to the voting ballot, we call it a ballot now. There's 3 papers, right? The first one is regional, then we have national, and we do have provincial. So please, like in simple terms for the new voters. So please do explain it to them what the difference is.
Yeah, definitely. So, like you said, there are 3 ballots going into this election. And this is actually the first time we're having 3 ballots. So, the first ballot is the national ballot. So, that is going to be your political parties who are contesting for seats in the National Assembly.
Okay.
So, people who are going to be part of the executive government. And then the second ballot you have is your regional ballot. This ballot has people who are individual candidates, as well as other political parties who are contesting again for the seat in the National Assembly. However, they are specific to each province.
Okay.
Right? And then lastly, you're going to have your provincial ballot. Your provincial ballots are people who are, or political parties rather, who are going to be competing to be part of the provincial legislature. So those are the people who are going to be in charge of governing, KZN, Western Cape, Eastern Cape, and so forth and so on. So those are the 3 ballots we have.
Okay, so moving on to the second question. In your own terms, what do you think the importance of voting? Like, what is the importance to vote? In this instance,
Yeah, definitely. I think it's especially important for us to vote this year because we've seen as citizens we're the most impacted by whoever's making the decisions at the top.
Okay.
Right? So in your own self-interest, in order to protect your own rights, we should be exercising our right to vote. I mean, inflation is crazy, right? The cost of living is
Tell me about it.
Out of the roof. So if you want to protect your own well-being and your own standard of living, I think it's very important as Africans to exercise that right to vote.
Right?
Yeah.
So that you know that you also have a say in whatever the decision making, right?
Well, I have a question for Ms. MKHIZE. Before we start the conversation, please explain to the people what the NHI is and what it seeks to achieve.
So the NHI is the National Health Insurance. It is basically medical aid for everyone in the country. So instead of being forced to go to a public clinic or public hospital if you're poor, you can go to a private hospital and private clinic and get the same standard of care that the rich would typically have access to, right? And it's part of the goals and objectives of government, but also the UN, right, to receive universal healthcare for everyone. So that's what the NHI seeks to do. It's going to be funded through taxes, and it's just free medical aid for everyone.
Do you think it's too late for people to register to vote today, or do they still have a chance, or
Ooh, guys, unfortunately, it is a bit too late to register to vote. So if you didn't make it to the registration polls, unfortunately, my friend, you'll have to wait until the next round.
Exactly. So they fall under the people that didn't even register. Let me ask you one question, TUMELO. Do you think the employment rate will get better? And should we start being a youth that creates our own jobs? Or should we rather chill and wait for these, revote and then just wait for jobs to be given?
And so coming to the youth, it's important for us to have the perspective, like I was saying, of creation, not of depending. I think the issue was, even though Gamorata, Ntate Mandela, but the conundrum, or should I say the mistake that he did was when he said everything will be free.
Yeah.
I will give you houses, I will give you electricity, I will give you schools.
You get me?
Mahala, just breathe oxygen.
You get everything.
And so it made sense then, but now you can't use tools that you use to fight now. The game is different.
Okay.
Right. And so what has happened is that we are a nation that is entitled. And understandably so, because if someone makes a promise that just breathe oxygen and you'll get everything, Of course you'll breathe oxygen and you'll want it.
Chill. And then if you don't get
deserve
it,
it, Vele,
and if
'cause
you don't get it, we strike.
Of course.
We chaos. Please do explain what is Electoral Commission for someone who doesn't know.
Okay, so the electoral.
Sorry, ma'am. Sorry, I didn't put you on the mic. Okay, yeah.
That's okay. That's okay.
Now
Thank you
you're
so
back.
much. So the Electoral Commission is one of South Africa's Chapter 9 institutions.
Okay.
So those are institutions that are there or exist to protect our democracy. So specifically, the IEC is there to govern the election process, make sure that we have free and fair elections, make sure no one's stuffing extra ballots in there, wanting to get extra votes. So that's their main purpose, to make sure that the results of the election are actually true and genuine, and they're a true and genuine reflection of what the citizens want or who they want to run the country.
So, okay, moving on. We really enjoy your company. Let me just appreciate you one time. So,
on
in your
another
own
point, you need to understand that corruption doesn't only apply to the leaders.
Okay.
Some of you bought your licenses, Bazalwane.
No. Listen.
Wait!
Okay.
But let me finish my point. Some
Okay.
of you, when our grannies are at home affairs, you pay to skip the line.
Of course.
So corruption is not
It's also
what
within
the
us.
politicians do at the highest level.
Okay.
It's what you do at the lowest level. You know people who are doing gemors,
Yeah.
but you are keeping quiet.
We are doing it.
You can't complain when someone steals 2 million. It's still stealing.
I think the reason why that misconception exists is because a lot of people feel like if you don't vote, you're actually supporting the status quo and you're supporting whatever government is in place.
Okay.
But as per the IEC guidelines, as per the Electoral Act itself, those who don't vote, their votes won't count. So,
That's a relief. Because I know you're probably there like a knock vote. But I know that means the existing party is going to take my vote.
Yeah.
You got the answer, guys, so no, they won't. But that's not a reason for you to not vote, guys. Your vote does matter. And I feel like this year is the most important year to cast your vote, guys.
But hope if you act.
Yeah.
Inaction is not an option. Oh my!
Powerful, brother.
my, you know
Give
what?
it to us. Throw our posters on the social. So if you do want to interact on the conversations we're gonna have, go ahead on our social media. Follow us on Sauma HD Radio, Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. Otherwise,
I was seeing some videos of some political parties going and helping grannies with their washing. I was like, powerful. Yes, this is a beautiful country. I'm like, wow.
now that's what we call good music on a Friday. Happy Friday, Umsebenzi wethu. Of course, we are here, Umsebenzini wethu. That was Umsebenzi wethu by Buster 99. Hang out with Mpura, featuring Jazzy Q, Lizuma, Lady Do, Reese Madesa. Where are you guys?
These are the type of songs.
These were the times.
These were the times when Piano was like,
Until piano came through Karas. This was the proper piano we appreciated,
Yes.
but we still still listen to it, and it's still going in nicely, And yeah, before that, I played you guys Found You by Da Capo featuring Berita. Another lovely song, calm, like chilled, soulful, and etc. Otherwise,